Hello and welcome to the next lecture. So in previous video we were watching how to use a security with properties or with a file, which is super primitive, but in some cases it will work if needed. Today we're gonna look how to use the same tactic but with JPA. So this is more of a practical approach. We still will use basic auth, so we'll specify email and password. But in this case, we store everything in a JPA, and for this lesson we're actually gonna use first time in our lecture the Postgres. So I was using the MySQL most of the time. So in this section in a security, we're gonna use a Postgres just for variability. All right, so I'm gonna copy this line here. Alright, so I'll copy this line here, and so we'll create, as you can see, we have a name Quarkus Postgres. So if you have a MySQL running, you'll have a Quarkus DB, which is there will be no conflicts. We have a password, Postgres password called root, and then Postgres user called root. So we have a root credentials, and then 5432 port, of course. And then the image itself. So it's running. We can see the Docker PS. We can exec into it. Docker exec sti. Actually, can use Quarkus Postgres. We can use PSQL like this. Oops, I think Quarkus Postgres was, oops, yeah, I see. Okay, so now we are logged in, and so you can see the we can create you're not connected to database root as a root, for example, right? So there is like so this up and running, so we don't need a shell for now and actually for this lecture. So instead, let's create a project, right? So what I have here is a default combination of a REST easy. So we have REST easy here, Hibernate or ramp and Ash to simplify it a little bit. And then we have also the JDBC Postgres, and this time if you're gonna use MySQL, so this will be JDBC/MySQL, and then security JPA, which is exactly what we need. So yeah, the artifact ID is security JPA tag do now. So nothing nothing special. So let's create a project, and at the same time let's open up it in IntelliJ IDEA. All right, so I started it up, and yeah, it will take a few seconds to bootstrap. So we'll start with user. So let's exec into our Postgres, right? So we have docker exec minus ti Quarkus Postgres PSQL, and let's just create a database called Quarkus or something like this, right? This will be enough. So we'll have a Quarkus database. We will remember that it's there, and we can put it hopefully like this, or actually we can specify the HTTP Postgres. What do we need? So like this, and then localhost 5432, and then Quarkus like this. So this should work for us. So yeah, so we have here the DB kind Postgres, username Quarkus. Actually here it will be root in our case. So like this, because we created the root username and password. We have DB kind Postgres. Then username and password will be root. That's exactly what we specified when we created the Docker. And then we have a JDBC URL, which is JDBC PostgreSQL, and then localhost 5432. For now it will work in Docker or whatever you will use. Of course, you need to know what to put here correctly, maybe the name of the container or something like this. And then the Quarkus database, right? So that's exactly what we created via the command line. You can use whatever you like for creating a database. If you have a UI tool or something like this, feel free to create a database called Quarkus. And we'll have a database generation type drop and create. So this is more than enough. Let's create a, let's create user. So let's tech do now data user like this. So this will be our storage for the roles, permissions, and all this stuff. So the only thing that you'll need to, so let's firstly extend the panache entity, right? And we'll have here, let's use a public string. In our case, that's username, right? And you straight ahead can put a username. Then you guessed it, we need to have a password as well, public string password. And then we also need to have a roles. This can be, of course, a string, but you can also use it as mapping, so you can map by roles. So this can be mapped to the other table if needed. We won't cover it here. It's just for us, for the example, it will be okay. But you can, of course, do like many to many or something like this, you know, or many to one, whatever. So yeah, so this is a good example, and yeah, so this will be more than enough. And let's create our first resource. So let's create, firstly, of course, let's create actually here, so new class user resource. And firstly, of course, let's put the path here. Let's say /users. And here, let's firstly create a public void on start observes and startup event. So we'll create a handler on a startup where we'll also put a transaction, of course, because we'll do the transaction. So here we will save new users on the startup because we have a drop and create. So we'll have a user, new user, and then user username. Actually, let's create a new static method. I don't know. It's a public static user add string username, string password, string roles, right? Like this. And here we'll create a new constructor with all, and then empty constructor as well. So here let's create a new user, username, password, roles, and then we'll call the say persist. What is it? So have a user user we have a we have a panache entity. This should be a panache entity, not panache. So here we call it persist, and this is more than enough, and return the user if needed, of course. So, and one more thing that I forgot is that we need to use here a backcrypt util, backcrypt hash. So we'll need to wrap the password in order to make it correct, to work, so that it can. So this is used as a default encrypting algorithm for the password when you use the security JPA, and this way it will encrypt and work correctly. So yeah, let's continue. So here I will create a call user add admin, and then I don't know. So the role will be admin, of course, right? So we'll create a user the same way, user, then the roles will be user, and here we will also, of course, put a user role, and yeah, that will be enough, right? So let's create a first endpoint called get, just public string get info, like this. So I won't cover the permit all, but basically if you put a permit all, this will allow all the whatever, if they have a role or not, if they are anonymous or not, they will be permitted all the time. So this is like, you know, ignore all the security with this permit all. So we won't use it, but we'll put the roles allowed, and then let's put a user, right? So we'll have a user role. We can actually inject here context like this, security context. Let's say just a context. So in context, you'll have get user principal, and I assume that you can cast it to user like this, and this principal will have the information. So you can just return, you know, we can actually call it greeting, right? Greeting, and let's say hello, and then plus user. Let's name it actually username, right? Like this. Oops. So yeah, so this will greet our user. Let's see if it will work. So yeah, we have a roles allowed user, of course, and then the output will be, of course, the just plain. We also need to specify that we have an entity, that is entity, of course. Then we can specify a table. You can specify a table name if you need to. So let's say users, or like I don't know, clients, right, or something like this. That you need to. And last thing that you need to specify is a user definition. So this will specify that these three annotations are legal, basically, right? So now, okay, now I'm using this authorization with the user, and you will see that it's so inside. Let's use it like this. So return hello, and then plus context security get user principal get name like this. And here we can also specify that we can of course find the user if needed. User find context get. So we'll need to specify here username, and then context get user principal get name like this. This should work. And so we also can, you know, use the whatever you need to have here. But just know that you can find the user by a user principal if needed. All right. And you can see that we have a hello user here, exactly what we need. So if we change the admin, you'll see that we have a hello admin, and of course this you know, get user principal name is exactly the name of the our user dot username, exactly what we expected to have. And yeah, so let's try to use let's create another endpoint called get, and then roles allowed will be admin only. So here public string admin endpoint, but wherever, yeah, right. So we can also put a security context if needed, like this, and here just return a user secret, right? So admin secret, sorry, whatever, I guess, just, you know. So let's see how the user will work here. Oh yeah, and of course the path, sorry, path, let's use it as admin, right? So /greeting / admin, let's go to postman. And let's actually use a user here, user / greeting / admin. You'll see that user won't work, forbidden, as you can see, but if you'll use the admin, of course it will work and give us an admin secret. So yeah, so this is super easy. Just keep in mind that you know, you need to know how to store it. And we can of course go to our clients table. So let's go to the what was that, docker exec -ti, and then we have a Quarkus Postgres is PSQL like this, and we can connect to Quarkus, and so select everything from clients client or clients? Clients. Okay. And you can see that we have a password encoded, roles for each of them, and in our user and user, and then the username itself. So yeah, you can of course expand this table. You can create something additional if needed, or you know, again, as I said, you can create a mapping to other table if needed as well. But yeah, but this is a good example of how it works, and there is nothing special here, as you just need to specify a JDBC connection. And this is just to drop and create on a restart if needed, and the username and password here, and kind of DB, which we use the Postgres. So yeah, now you know how to use security with JPA. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.